Hey everyone, Mr. Clutch here. Going to look at today's action on SPY and QQQ. We're probably 10 to 15 minutes to close here, so the day's not quite closed out, but I was going to go ahead and look back at today's price action after CPI. Again, we're looking at this in hindsight, kind of looking at where you could have caught the nice moves. We're looking at trend lines and also looking at the 2-minute strategy and from the Discord and kind of where those best plays were there as well. So we'll jump in here and take a look and see what we can find. So you'll see right away, we ripped up out of those CPI numbers at 7:30. It'd be 8:30 market time. So we're coming in here on an uptrend, and then that kind of gives one good candle and just sells back off down to the 200 through two of our zones that we had marked from the pre-market. These are really violent, fast-moving candles, so it's going to be hard to catch any of this. Really, you'd be hard pressed to try to get in any of these moves. You could find ways with certain strategies, but based on just trend lines and the 2-minute strategy, we're not going to really find an entry there. I think after this point here forms, and we see this bouncing back up, you could probably start a trend line here across here just to see what it's going to look like, and then just leave this drawn to see if it comes back to it. And it did. It bounced off our trend line right at the 200, and then it kind of comes up here and just starts walking down the 13. And so I think this is a really good shot to potentially play a breakdown here, especially as it starts dripping under the 200. And I think that Casey played this in the Discord, and it's a nice move down there. So at this point, you're still thinking, that hey, we're in a downtrend now, clear downtrend, but we're at kind of our pre-market low here. So you're watching that, and then but you're still thinking, okay, let's look for a flag back to the 13 here to go short again. You never really can draw one here. You start drawing that line out, and there's nothing there. So it pushes back through it, takes off. You actually extend that line out. And here's your next breakdown that you can play. Breaks down through your trend line. It's right under the 13. This is what we talk about, like in a really good entry spot there. Sorry, I had to pause the video there to tend to my dog. But anyways, we were talking about this move here and this breakdown. So you could have caught something there. And then, this kind of, you could almost push this over here, this trend line. Kind of tuck that in there. And there's a nice little support trend line here. This is supporting, and then it breaks down through. And that's the real good move there. So at that point, we're still looking short on the 2-minute strategy right here. This is a pretty decent little flag back into the 13 that you might have taken, and you potentially could have got something out of it, maybe a break-even play. If you're not careful, you could also get stopped out there. So let's see how volume looked on that. Yeah, so that was some good volume, and then it kind of died off. So you might be thinking that's a decent play, and it was a good setup. So then as we start pushing through here, now we're looking, okay, well, hey, we've kind of got this double bottom here, this W pattern, and so I'd start drawing out a trend line. Let's back up here and see how far up we can go. Yeah, you could even look at something like that. Yeah, look at that. Got this wick here, this wick here. So you may not be able to catch it right at the bottom. I mean, if we're in a really aggressive trend line trader trying to catch a reversal, you could do something like that and coming off 13. That actually doesn't look half bad, but that's kind of a high risk, high reward play there, unless you just cut it quick if it reverses back down here on you. So I could see either of those if you were playing trend lines, but a lot of times we see these not play out, as it'll break through and then roll back over if we're in a downtrend. And at this point, even with this little push, you think we're in a downtrend. So one thing we talk about is fibs, and this is a pretty interesting move down. If we draw some fibs out, let's see, I bet it lines up pretty good. So our first high and low is here. Look at that, right to the 618. And so that was where the first retracement was. Then we made this new low here. Let's see, so this one went almost to the 5.0 there. So then we come all the way down to our lows, and let's see where this end of day went. Yeah, right back to the 786. So anyways, those fibs can kind of give you, especially like on that first move or two, you're thinking, okay, You know, it looks like we're starting to roll over here. We rejected up 618. It's kind of an extra piece of confluence. So anyways, yeah, you're back here. You could go long here, here, and then just kind of ride this up. If you aren't a trend line player and you're just looking for 2-minute moves, I don't mind this flag right here because we've started back up. We hit our head on the 200, but if we can show some strength here out of it and through, then that could be a really good move, and that was actually the one to catch there. If you don't end up getting stopped and profit here, you could have rode that up. Let's see how volume looked on that little flag there. This one, so yeah, it was pretty low. So yeah, there's another entry for you there, and then you know, worst case, you enter here and it can't get through the 200, and you just stop out right in here, back towards your entry maybe a little bit lower. So that was a good risk reward play there. So that takes us up through the end of the day. I mean, you're probably not trying to play a trend line breakdown on that steep at the end of the day there. So yeah, let's we'll flip over to QQQ here and take a look. So on QQQ, let's see how similar it looked here. Looks like it actually made a new high day there at the end of the day. That's interesting. So again, we're looking at our pre-market here. We rip out of the pre-market, perfect flag back. This is all pre-market, and then we come out of the gate and rip up and make, you know, take out the pre-market high. Pretty solid fake out there. Rip down a couple big candles, back up. So this is that area where you just really can't play or find a good entry here. There's not even, it's all too steep to have trend lines. But one thing I'm noticing here, and I'll check it, is we're seeing here higher highs, right? Let's check RSI. Yeah, so here, 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 that's pretty flat. So, but overall, we're losing strength here, but we're making higher highs. So that's telling me to watch it. We're going to need a reset at some point. And so when this trend line here, you could do something, you know, in here, starts forming. It's not perfect. Yeah, actually, if you came to the bottom of this wick, this would be a time that it probably lines up good, yeah. And, you know, you bounce off here, create your couple second points here, comes down. This is like the SPY one almost, but it's a little different. It just walks up that line, and as soon as it just drips down below, you could enter there. I mean, you got a lot of stuff underneath you with the zone, so you're just trying to find a risk-reward play. Getting in, you're going to stop out if it comes back up here. And that was an excellent fast move down here. So then you're probably getting stopped out and you're watching here. You're looking for a flag back. You might have, it's really steep. I don't like these steep flags like this, but you might have let this think, hey, we're going down and get in. Could have been faked out there, but hopefully not. And then especially with the 200 there, in this zone, there's not, you know, a ton of room between these two zones. So anyway, so this rips up, and then you're starting to think maybe we'll flip long here. You know, I could see someone potentially getting stopped here, thinking this is that kind of touches and wicks. Like maybe you try here. Hopefully you're a little more patient. You kind of draw something out like that, hoping that maybe this one comes in and bounces out, but it didn't. So now I'm looking, you know, kind of longer term, because we're getting bunched up in here with, you know, this area where there's tight EMAs and you've got zones on both sides. So you want to see it come out of there. So maybe you're watching a trend line like that, something like that there. Multiple touches. This comes up to it and just sells off. So that can maybe get you back in over here, and that's on top of all your EMAs. But before we go to that one, this is a real similar to one we had on Qs as well. And maybe you've got this drawn out right here already when this is forming, and you're just waiting for it to break down or break out. Breaks down into the 13, you can get in there, or you could take this flag back right here as well. Alright, sorry about that. I've had to pause a few times now. I've got allergies, and sneezing and coughing fits keep popping up on me. So anyways, I think we're looking at this flag right here, and then yeah, so that's a nice little flag back, and then catch this nice move down, kind of that same one we saw on SPY as well, and then you got this one right here, same as on SPY too. So nice move there. Again, we showed this longer trend line with these touches. You could get in right here as it pushes through the 200 and gets to your trend line. That's an excellent entry right there. I don't know if you hold it through that or not, but if you did, then it was a nice gainer. You might be able to sell out here and then get back in down here. So anyways, hopefully these are showing you that, you know, if you're just patient and draw out some bigger lines and look for the nice looking flags. Usually there's a couple times a day where it's like this flag or this flag that look really nice. You want to watch for those. It's real easy to get into these places here where you're just like trying to, rejecting this way or that way, or you know, these real steep drops, or I'm trying to find a good one here, but it's kind of hard. But there's, you know, a lot of times you get so enamored by the candle by candle, and you're looking for a move on every 2-minute candle, that it's really easy to get bogged down in that and miss the bigger picture. So anyways, we'll move on tomorrow, and I'll see you Thursday. Thanks for watching.